Hello all and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go on an adventure together and I'm going to show you the wrong way to replace the battery in an Apple Watch Series 7 and hopefully help you to not make the same mistakes I did. So let's get into it. Of course, we'll firstly remove the bands to make it easier to work on. Checking the battery health, we see that it shows service recommended as well as a battery health percentage of 78%. Now, to pay Apple to replace the battery costs about $100, but worse yet, you have to mail the device in and go without it for a week or two. I wanted to fix this on my own instead. Now let's look over what you'll need to perform this repair. Of course, you'll need the new battery. I purchased mine from iFixit for about $25. Next, you'll need a very thin pry tool. Mine is 0.1 millimeters and was purchased on Amazon. We'll also need a glue to resecure the screen once the battery is replaced. You'll need either a heat gun or a hot plate to loosen the current adhesive on the watch. You'll need a precision screwdriver kit. Mine also comes with various pry tools and spudgers, which will come in handy. And lastly, you'll need some way to physically secure the screen to the body assembly as the glue cures. I'm using a small wood clamp, but you could also get away with using rubber bands. The first thing we're going to do is begin to heat the glass up to loosen the adhesive. Right out of the gate, I think I screwed up here. I put too much heat on the device for too long, so if you're replicating my steps, less is more. And this is where I really screwed up. After heating the device, I began pushing my pry tool between the glass and the body assembly. I was able to get some purchase, but what I didn't realize is I hadn't forced the pry tool in enough to get under the entire assembly. I had only gotten my pry tool under the touchscreen and ultimately forced it between the touchscreen and the assembly. In case you missed it, I'll crop in. Right there, you can see the LCD panel dying as I severed it from the screen assembly. At this point, I was very frustrated and ended up cutting the recording. Fortunately, I was able to find a used LCD assembly on eBay for about $70, so I decided to revisit this project. While I didn't record this, removing the LCD once the seal is broken is as simple as carefully lifting up on the adhesive that's keeping two ribbon cables adhered to the backside of the screen, then lifting up on the two securing clips and removing the whole assembly. And here you can clearly see where I dug my pry tool into the assembly and began separating it. Now with the assembly off, I can begin working the current battery free. It is adhered to the watch, but the adhesive isn't super strong. I was able to easily pop it out with a pry tool, but if you're having trouble, drop some isopropyl alcohol into the sides of the battery to loosen up the adhesive. Here we can see the battery connection is secured with a retaining bracket held on by the world's tiniest tri-wing screw. After removing the screw, we can carefully move the screw in the bracket out of the way with tweezers. Next, I'll begin clearing out the old adhesive that's left in the assembly using a pry tool and some patience. This step is important as you don't want any small pieces left behind that could compromise the new seal when you reinstall the screen. I'll now remove the rest of the battery adhesive left on the chassis with some tweezers. Now I can open up my donor device from eBay and begin to remove the screen from its current chassis. Not wanting to risk breaking this one, I decided to remove the back of the watch and simply push the screen out from the inside. The seller assured me that the display was only barely adhered to the chassis and should pop right out. Now we can get our new iFixit battery out and plug it into its little Lego connector. This is a lot easier said than done because the connector is so small and it's right up against the side of the watch, making it difficult to get your fingers or tools in there. With the battery hooked up, I'm going to hook up the new LCD and boot the watch up just to test before I begin adhering things together. And we get nothing. Maybe it just needs a charge. After letting the watch charge for about an hour, it booted right up. Checking the battery health, the watch now shows it to have 100% capacity. So far, so good. I'll now reinstall the battery's retaining bracket and tiny tri-wing screw. Again, easier said than done. I'll remove the plastic seal on the new battery's adhesive and carefully install it back into the chassis. Now, before installing the adhesive for the screen, I'll do one more quick check to make sure the device is working fine. With everything looking good, I'll shut the watch back down. Now I can carefully and evenly apply a line of adhesive all the way around the chassis where the display will sit in. This step is important to ensure the best likelihood of any degree of water resistance going forward. After pushing the display back into its home, I'll put a couple paper towels on either side of the device to protect the display before I clamp it down. Now, I'll let the watch sit for at least 24 hours to let the adhesive cure all the way. 24 hours later, as we remove the clamp and paper towels, we find that the adhesive has come out of the sides of the display and even cured some paper towel fabric to the watch. No problem. We'll just get out a rag and some isopropyl alcohol and begin cleaning away any excess. And with that, the device is repaired. Hopefully this helped you process this repair properly and avoid the same mistakes that I did. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.